raining a lot the past couple of days, and as most of you know, I live in a wetland, so that's part of why I built these raised beds. Part of why was because of my bone and joint problems, because I can't till and I can't really dig, and part of it was because I live in a wetland, and when it rains there are places on this property that stay wet. Like, I have standing water for a long amount of time. So when I first started to try to put a garden in here, I put these beds in, and some of them weren't even tall enough, so I've just been building them up taller and taller. But there are still some trouble areas, and unfortunately my pumpkins are planted in one of my trouble areas for some reason. I didn't think it was going to be so wet. I thought that we might have a dry summer with the increase in temperature. So I thought, you know, maybe I should put them in the place that's going to have the most moisture. Maybe it'll do better there. But no, the opposite happened, so... This particular pumpkin plant doesn't look so bad, but there aren't any pumpkins on this one. I had a couple of them planted here. The one that was back here was my good one. The one that had my nice big pumpkin, which I didn't even get a shot of. But there it is. There's my pumpkin. Whistle Thicket. Maybe I can enter this as the weirdest pumpkin. It's a zombie pumpkin. Submitting this as my weird pumpkin. And then I have this itty bitty baby here. And that's all that's left. That's all that's left of my pumpkins. The rest just kind of rotted. But my sunflowers are doing fantastic. This one has got to be 12 foot tall. There's no way it's not. I'm almost 6 foot. This thing is almost twice my height. So if I can't submit my zombie slime pumpkin into the pumpkin contest, I do have these. Maybe not technically a pumpkin. A lot of what is sold as, you know, the different looking and neat pumpkins are actually winter squash, not actual pumpkins. But maybe I could submit this as a weird pumpkin. My goth squash here. At this point, that's my only chance. So I thought I would also update Goth bed. I dug up my carrots. Most of them turned out really well. Now when you're planting carrots, you want to have really loose soil. And this spot's really not so loose, but I just kind of took a chance to put them here. I threw this whole thing together just kind of real quick for fun. So not a ton of thought went into it, but most of them turned out pretty good. A few of them were weird shaped, I'll show you. A few of them were weirdly shaped, but most of them turned out, you know, nice and straight. And a very beautiful dark color. The tomatoes, they're doing okay. The plants didn't get super big. Now I direct sowed these kind of late in the year, so I wasn't sure how well they were going to do. But I'm going to get a couple of tomatoes. Anyway, these were the dark varieties. Oh, look at that. Look how pretty that is. These were the atomic grape tomatoes. The pepper plants, I think these were the Buena Mulata. And another variety, I cannot remember what I put here, of hot pepper. I think this is the group of hot peppers. But they've gotten big, and they've got flowers on them. And my black corn has really shot up, and I hadn't seen any tassels on them until just the other day they started coming out. I wasn't sure if I was going to get any corn from these or not. And I don't see any ears forming. I guess we'll find out. My dark squash, which seems to be fairly resistant to the squash bugs. There's still some issue. And those stupid cucumber beetles. But the plant seems to be dealing with them really well, unlike my other plants. That squash right there was absolutely demolished by vine borers, which are so bad this year. I've lost so many plants to vine borers. I'm going to have to come up with some traps next year. The purple basil. Well, some of it's not all purple. Kind of spotty. All came from the seed pack. Smells so good. My red lettuce starting to bolt, and I think I'm going to let it so I can save the seeds. These were sweet peppers. They haven't done much, but there's still plenty of time. The black radishes were, and I harvested what was left of those. They didn't do super well in this spot. I only got a couple of them that were actually any good out of this area. Alright, well, one of my sunflowers is 9 foot tall, and the other one is a little bit over 10 foot tall. So, sunflowers are doing good. Pumpkins not so much. Unless you'll accept my entry of my squishy zombie pile. Or maybe my green little squash that look like pumpkins. For weird pumpkin, maybe. So that'll be up to Whistle Thicket if he'll allow it. These are the carrots that I dug out of Goth bed. They look pretty nice. Clean this one off a bit so you can see the color some. It's a nice dark purple. But this is what I was talking about when I said sometimes they grow weird if they're not in really loose soil. We have the good carrot, and then we have Cthulhu carrot. It's an eldritch abomination. Alright, so I was thinking about September 14th for being the end of the sunflower contest. That's my birthday. So by September 14th, you should have a video, or you should have recorded your sunflower when it was at its tallest or biggest. I think by then most of them should be done growing. So measure them before they start to dry out and like flop over, because you want to get them measured while they're still really healthy and green and, you know, full of moisture, not dried out and brown. So just have it recorded by September 14th and have your video ready to go, and whoever has, you gotta show me that you measured it. So whoever has the tallest sunflower wins, and whoever has the biggest around sunflower wins. Mine, I've only just started to grow flowers, so I think they're probably pretty done with growing in height once they start growing the flower heads. So I think a little over 10 foot is probably the highest one that I'm going to have. I don't know how big the flowers will end up being. I hope that September the 14th is long enough. Maybe we'll play it by ear a little bit, because if somebody has planted one and it's not done growing by that time, kind of want to give them a fair chance to see how big it might actually get. So we'll see. So far, tentatively, September 14th. And if you don't already follow me on Instagram, go ahead and follow me, so I will probably put updates on that date and some information and stuff about the contest on Instagram. So that's probably the easiest way for me to communicate with you guys, is through Instagram. So follow me on Instagram. I have a Facebook page for the farm, but I'm not on that so much anymore. I don't really care for Facebook that much. So, yeah, if you want to get a hold of me, it's going to be easiest to get a hold of me on Instagram, and for updates and stuff to see what's going on. So I'm not super good with closing out a video. I'm just like, yeah, and stuff.